The first question people want to know is, how long will ammunition last? And that depends, but don't worry, we'll get into that in this video. Hey guys, how's it going? So I'm going to talk a little bit about ammo storage, how I store my ammo, some lessons that I've learned in the past. And this is probably going to end up being a short series of videos because there's a lot to cover, and I don't want to do a 2-hour video on this in one shot and bore all of you half to death. So the last year, basically, ammo prices have been going through the roof. You know, reduced availability. We called this ammo shortage 2020, and now here we are in ammo shortage 2021. Now, I hope it gets better, although I don't see any signs that ammo is going to get back to normal anytime soon, if forever, but that's another topic. At the end of the day, many new gun owners, and if you're a new gun owner and you're just getting into ammunition, I really hope this video helps you protect your investment, because that's what ammo's become lately. It's a very expensive commodity. It's become an investment, and there's really no such thing as a cheap box of ammo, period, right? And those of you that have been into ammunition and guns forever, you might still get something out of this video too, because I've finally realized some best practices after all these years being into guns and buying ammo. And I've also made some mistakes that I'll share with you guys too. Some stuff that I wish I would have done years ago, and even in recent times, a couple bad things that have happened to some ammunition that I have. So I hope this helps all of you out. And if you guys want to help support the channel, there's links down in the description. My Amazon store, it costs you nothing, but it definitely helps out. And I'll be linking to some products that'll help get me a little bit of commission if you do choose to buy them from Amazon, that I'm going to talk about in this video. And for all my Patreon supporters, the members, if you guys notice, I now have the join button. You guys are really helping make this possible, because YouTube doesn't like these types of videos, and you guys' generous donations help me make it possible. So thank you very much. Alright, so if you guys remember back a year ago, this was as cheap as $8.50. I actually did a video when I unboxed it. Now a box of ammunition like this could be $50, $60, $70, $80, and in some cases even $100. I get it, guys, it's nuts, but at the end of the day, we need to protect this stuff. A lot of you are buying ammo for the first time, or you're strengthening your stockpile, whatever you want to call it. And I understand why you are, because just the thought of any future gun control or increased demand and lack of supply in the future, you're stockpiling ammo, and I get it. So let's start off. The first question people want to know is, how long will ammunition last? Well, you're going to notice that most manufacturers are going to say 10 years. Hold on. It's going to last longer than that if you do it right. They're going to say 10 years, and that's basically based on lawyer statements. Legalese, guarantee, blah, blah, blah. I've seen ammunition that I've actually fired personally that's 100 years old. And you can certainly keep your ammunition alive and well and functional for 40 or 50 years. Now, I've also seen some unfortunate circumstances where ammunition has kind of gone bad in a matter of just a couple months. So let's go through some of this right now. Alright, so how are you going to store your ammunition, and where should you store it? Here's a general rule of thumb. You should always store your ammunition where you would be most comfortable. So if you can put it in the living areas of your house, that's going to be ideal. So you don't want it to have extreme cold. It's not recommended to put it in your garage where it gets down to -10 degrees in the wintertime, okay? You also don't want it to get too hot. And heat's actually going to be the worst enemy of ammo, and humidity. So especially if you're in a hot, muggy, humid climate. I'm thinking of some of you guys that actually live on the ocean too, where you have what's called salt spray, and there's a lot of salt in the air. So wherever you live, you may have to accommodate just a little bit differently, but I'm going to show you some methods that should work actually no matter where you're at, to keep your ammo working good for not just 10 years, but decades to come, so you can use it hopefully the rest of your life, maybe even pass it on to your children and grandchildren if you're so prepared. Alright, this is an ammo can. This is a military surplus. We call these the 50 cal can size. Now you may see them with markings that might say M193-556. In this case, it actually literally says M9 50 cal. M33 ball tracer. This is the size of ammo can. I'm going to do another video more specific on the amounts of cans and different types. There's like a million, but we'll go through just a couple in this video. These are military surplus. They're bought on contract throughout the various branches of the armed services. These are awesome. Now you can buy military surplus from several different places, gun shows, maybe your local gun shop. You can also buy modern reproductions of these. Some are better than others. I've seen them at Harbor Freight. I've seen them at Walmart, Amazon, places like that. If you can buy these surplus and you can get them for a good price, I would buy them. You're going to find them in different grades. This would be like a grade A or grade 1. You'll notice there's no rust on here. The paint is in very good condition. This can looks awesome. Now you could buy them all the way where they're dented, where they have surface rust. It just depends, you know. Do you have more time than money? More money than time? Do you want to tinker? You could buy one of these that has some surface rust, sand it all off nice, repaint it again. It just depends if, you know, what you want to do. So I'll show you this can briefly. There's going to be a heavy duty steel latch here that you're going to flip up, right? They also make locks for these, and I'll see if I can find a link for that to put down in the description. So I usually grab it from the front like this, pull up. You're going to notice there's usually some friction. So we have a solid steel design, steel lid, steel hinge with pins going through, welded construction, formed. Everything about these is really nice. We're also going to notice a seal on the top. This is really, unless they rust through or something crazy happens, this is about the only thing that you really need to check on these. Sometimes if you get them used, you know, surplus, there's a little dirt, you might have to wipe out with a paper towel, but this particular can is like in almost perfect shape. This is a rubber seal. It's meant to last a long time. If you want to maintain the seal, don't put oil on it. You know, like for example, here's some OW20 synthetic motor oil. I wouldn't put oil on there. Oil likes to degrade rubber, but works perfect is silicone grease. Now you'll see this called just plain old silicone grease, as seen here. You'll see this called dielectric grease. You'll see it called bulb grease. This is all basically the same thing. And then I keep a jar of it right here. This is called silicone paste, dielectric grease. So any of that, silicone grease, dielectric grease, bulb grease, it's all essentially the same thing. Just make sure it's a silicone product, and you can lightly dress and maintain the seal on these ammo cans with that. I know you're not going to go wrong with putting silicone on this type of rubber. Any other chemicals I'd shy away from, because why bother, right? So these, in my opinion, are kind of the gold standard to keep your ammo. Again, they're sturdy, they're heavy duty, they were made for the military, and they're going to last a long time. So basically, you can take your ammo in the packaging, and I'm going to discuss pros and cons in 1 second to keeping it in the packaging or not. And you can just come up with a strategy and just start stacking. You'll find that you'll be able to get so many boxes this way, stack them up, then you'll be able to turn them on their side and fill in the gap. I'll get into more of the cans in another video, just so this doesn't last forever, right? Now, like I said, humidity. That's one of your biggest things you want to combat. So as long as the temperature's somewhat reasonable, I get it. You can't necessarily keep it in your living room, but you want to watch out, especially if you're keeping this in your basement, for humidity, okay? And this is another product that I use extensively. This stuff is awesome. This is called Silica Gel or desiccant packs. Now this particular product, dry and dry, it seems to be just as good as anything. I'll leave a link to this down in the description. And basically what these are is they're little beads. You'll find these actually like if you buy a bag of beef jerky in there, right? Now these themselves aren't edible, keep them away from children, all that. But they do use them to keep food dry and many other household products. You might buy a piece of electronics and see it in the factory packaging, right? So here's what this looks like. This is a 5-gram packet. Amazon offers these in the different sizes. I like the 5-gram because by the time you calculate the cubic inches, these are good for about 600 cubic inches. So even if you have a essentially empty 50 cal ammo can or smaller, you're going to be fine with just one of these packets in here. So this is the size I choose. You can buy as few as like 20 of these, 50, 100 pack, 200 pack. Of course, it's like all this stuff. You save in bulk, and the best price per packet is if you buy the 200 count bag. I think if you buy the 50 count bag like this, right now when I'm doing this video, it's like 11 bucks. So you're talking like maybe 22 cents a packet, but you can get them down half that price per packet if you're willing to buy the bigger containers. So that's up to you guys. So basically these are moisture absorbing beads. And what I'll do is put my ammo in the can, And I'll just simply put one of these on top, or if there's a little pocket on the side, just drop it in there with the ammunition. You're going to basically let the lid just fall down naturally. There's going to be some friction. These are a tight friction fit, which is what makes them so good. Push it down, compress it. Your latch is going to come kind of up first. It's going to hook onto that little tray, that little trough, whatever you want to call it. And then you're going to push down on it with a little bit of force, and you'll hear a positive click. Now you're actually in good shape, ready to go. Now just remember, when you fill this up, it's going to be very heavy. But these boxes are actually made for this. And watch out, especially if there's little kids in the house, how high you go. But you can stack these pretty high, and the boxes themselves will actually take the weight. And I'll show you that right now. Here's another box that has some 7.62 by 39 in it that I'm going to show you in 1 second. You're going to notice on the bottom of the box there's a little groove that's going to correspond with the handle that folds up nice and flush. It's a lot easier when you're not on camera, guys. Oh, you know that. Alright, so I have this one here on flat ground, presumably. I'm angling it for you guys. We're just going to line up that little trough in the bottom of the can on top of the handle. And look, it doesn't lock in. There's no, nothing locking it, but just if you let gravity do its job. Again, don't let little kids get around this. They could knock it over, but there you go. You're going to find out there's little, let me show you on this one here. There's little standoffs, like little dimpled areas, and that just helps balance out the load on the top. So yeah, these are fully stackable. Use your own judgment. I've stacked these 8 high before, and had them secured in the corner of a wall, and I've not crushed the contents underneath. So there's actually like a million uses for these. I think I'm going to do a whole separate ammo can video, but I'll go ahead and move on from that. Now, some of you don't have an ammo can right now. I get it. These vary in price. I've seen them as much as 20 bucks. As cheap as maybe 10, 12. There's different grades, so that's something I want to make you guys aware of. If you're buying the military surplus, look at how they're graded. Usually, if you're buying from a reputable seller, I know there's a place called Ammo Can Man, for example, that sells these in bulk. They'll tell you what grade they're in and usually show you some sample pictures. So you decide what you want to do with that, right? They used to be like $2 to $5 a piece. But hey, nothing's what it used to be as far as prices goes, especially in the last year. I really recommend those. Now, if you can't afford those, there's other things you can do too that are going to work quite well. So this is a Polymer Ammo Can. And when I bought this ammo, this is from IMI. This was a 5.56 by 45 NATO and was cool. I don't know if they still offer these, but when I bought these a few years ago, you would buy, this was 210 rounds, right? And it would come conveniently packaged in this ammo can. So check this out. Works kind of like the metal ammo can in a way. It's got a latch on it and all that. And we're going to notice this came with 7 boxes with 30 rounds per box of this IMI 5.56 M855 62 grain full metal jacket. And it's like it was literally made for it. Let's see, I've used about 2 boxes out of here so far. So there you go. This also has a rubber seal impregnated into the lid around the rim of it. These are also stackable. They also have foldable handles. These are not a bad choice. And there is an advantage to them. They might be cheaper in many cases. They're also much lighter. And in this case, it's a very small box. You can't fit as much ammo, but it's handy, right? Here's the downside. At the end of the day, it is polymer. This is obviously going to break and degrade over time more than your metal can. So it's kind of like, no free lunches with any of this stuff. But the polymer cans are definitely okay to get into, especially if you're just getting started. Are they fine? Yes, I'm using one right now. I still recommend the steel cans though, to be honest with you guys. Now don't forget, in any scenario, a little bit of this will go a long way. I mean, 5.56 right now, hopefully you guys are laughing because it's down to 25 cents a round a year later if you're watching this. But right now, when I'm doing this video, the going rate for this type of ammo is about $1 a round. So if I've got 150 rounds in here, it makes me sick to even say this, but I guess there's 150 bucks in there. So I'm going to take this, which is 20 cents or less, depending on how many you buy. Money well spent. Throw that right in there just to keep my ammo nice and fresh, right? Now, when you're putting the ammo in these cans, there's several ways you can do it. You can either put the boxes in, like I showed you with this, or with the other ammo can, or you can put the ammunition in there loose, like take it out of the packages and just dump it into the can, right? So, like everything, there's pros and cons to whether you want to put it in the original boxes versus dump it in loose. And I'm going to show you an example with this can right here of some loose. This is Tula ammo, 7.62 by 39. And you can see there's just a couple inch layer there at the bottom of these. Now, I'm going to be getting into in 1 second the story behind this particular ammo and some other ammo I'm going to show you of where things haven't gone well for me in the past. And, you know, I've damaged or lost a significant amount of money's worth of ammo, and I hope that doesn't happen to you guys. We'll get to that in just a second. Okay, dumping it in loose. So the advantage is going to be this. You can fit quite a bit more ammunition if you just take it out of the box, dump it in here loose, right? Because there's not really going to be much airspace. The packaging itself is going to be a square or rectangle, and obviously there's going to be air voids. Depending on the type of ammo you buy, it may come in a plastic tray. It may be just wrapped with pieces of paper in between it, things like that. So yeah, you're going to fit more in there. Disadvantages. Hey, depending who you are, I don't know how strong you are, it might get this so heavy that you don't want to lift it up. Because if you fill one of these up with just boxes of ammo, it has a decent amount of weight to it. If you pour this in loose, due to the fact that you're going to get a decent amount more, it could be too heavy, so keep that in mind. Here's the other disadvantage. If you know for a fact you're going to shoot your ammo, and you're going to shoot it up, you know, and you know how much you're going to use, basically. And you don't mind the extra weight, and you know you're never going to sell it or have to pass it down to someone later who might need to sell it, just throw them in there loose, right? You get more rounds per can. The cans cost money. It's less storage in your house, no problem. However, there's a trade-off here. So, if you ever wanted to fly with your ammunition, right, and you want to take it on a hunting trip or do some plinking at a friend's house across the country, this isn't legal advice. Make sure you check. This could change from time to time. But as far as I understand, the TSA will not allow you to carry ammo. You know, even if you're properly carrying it the ways they specify, go look all that up. I'm not really into the legalese. But from what I understand, they won't let you just fly with loose ammo. You can't transport it at all on a plane with you. But they will let you transport it if it's in original packaging. So keep that in mind. Here's the other thing. If I were to buy ammo from an estate, let's just say, God bless him, a friend of mine's dad died. And he's like, hey man, I'm not really into guns. Do you want to see what my dad had before he passed? Do you want to buy any? And I've had people, you know, give me that opportunity before. And I see ammo. And I think you guys know where I'm heading with this. Just loose in a box. Yeah, I can look at the head stamp of it and know what it is, but to me it's worth a little bit less, and I think 99% of buyers of ammo are going to be considered to be worth less, right? Like anything. You open up the box, it's no longer new in the box. So if you ever had to sell this, you know, it might still be worth a fair amount. I have no idea. However, it's going to no doubt be worth less if it's just loose in the bottom of a ammo can. Versus if you have this ammo can nicely packed with your silica gel, your desiccant, stored properly, it's in its original box. Now this is new in the box ammo, okay? You can know exactly what it is. Like you can clearly look right on here. This is Wolf Polyformance, all right, 7.62 by 39, 123 grain FMJ. Steel case, non-corrosive, Birdam primed. If you just have loose ammo, you may know what it is. But what if, you know, something happened and your daughter had to sell it later and she's just saying, hey, I have ammo for sale. What is it? She may not know how to look in there and know, like, oh, well, this is obviously this because of the head stamp. So just because you're an expert on your ammo, don't ever take that for granted that, again, God forbid one of your loved ones needed to, you know, sell some of your estate. You guys know what I'm saying, right? They might not know that. So for that reason, unless you know, like in the next year or a certain amount of time, you're going to shoot all this ammo up, you're a super avid shooter, I'm going to say for most people, I'm probably going to recommend leave it in its original packaging. Pack it as tight as you can in the ammo box, leaving it, you know, just like this. There's strategies and little puzzle games you can play where you can still fit quite a bit of boxes inside of an ammo can. So I want you guys to take that into account. And I think that's something a lot of people forget about. Now, if you don't have an ammo can and you just want to store some ammo, you have loose rounds hanging around. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, right down below my camera here. I mean, look. French LaBelle round, you know, 9mm HST, 223, 7.62 by 39. Some more HST. I mean, sometimes you just have ammo kind of sitting around, right? Okay. There's actually nothing wrong with just taking your mayonnaise jar, or in this case, instant coffee. Juan Valdez jar right here, right? Nice thick glass. And I just have some 9mm stored loosely in here. Now for this video, I just poured it in there, you know, to show how much I can fit in there. And I have a couple full boxes in this rather small coffee jar. Now, if I'm going to store this long term, can you guys see where I'm going wrong already? Yeah. Even if I have to take a few rounds out of this and find another place for them, definitely. Because look, this is 9mm. Gold 9mm. Is there really a difference nowadays, right? This costs 20 cents. You got to get this in there, even if it's in your little mayonnaise jar. See that? Kind of just folded it over, crumpled it up. Good to go. If you guys don't have these, you need to get these for your ammo storage. Like, literally, they don't cost that much money. And here's the cool thing. This particular brand, and I assume a lot of brands, I don't know, but this particular one right here, it actually tells you exactly how you can test these to see if they're still good. They're actually color changing, where they're gonna, when the beads are saturated, the color will change from white to yellow, blue to pink, or orange to dark green. You can weigh them to see. You can actually put these in your oven on extremely low heat. Look at that. In the oven, ½ hour to 2 hours at 250 degrees. You can put these in the microwave for 7 to 12 minutes on defrost. And the reactivation time varies on the saturation level of the beads. So these are actually fully reusable. And if you treat them gently, you can reactivate them several times. But at the end of the day, ammo costs so much money. Even if you don't have time for all that and just treat these as though they're disposable, this is, you know, 20 cents to protect potentially $100. Or I bet you nowadays you could easily fit $1,000 worth of ammo in one of those 50 cal cans. Alright, so just to regroup real quick here. Your ammunition, the manufacturer is going to say 10 years. 40 to 50 years easily if you're just following some of these basic ideas I'm giving you, right? Store it in a comfortable place. Like, don't store it when it's extremely cold. Especially avoid the extreme heat. Moisture is going to be your worst enemy. Always use an airtight container. With the metal containers I showed you, the surplus USGI ammo cans, those have a seal. Make sure the seal's in good working order. Put your silica gel in. You're good. Your plastic ammo box, same thing. Make sure there's no cracks in it. If there's any cracks in anything, whether it's the seal or the body of the container, you're no longer airtight. That's no longer a safe place, in my opinion, for long-term ammo storage, right? Even your old mayonnaise jar, coffee jar, whatever, coffee can, as long as it's airtight and you can get a silica gel packet in there, there's nothing wrong with this. I would have no problem keeping ammo in here if I needed to for 40 or 50 years. Why not, right? Inside of, in this case, my heated shop or my house. All right. Now, there's several things you don't want to do. And this goes for steel case and brass cased ammo. I'm going to show you some military steel case. This is 7.62 by 54R, silver tip steel penetrator. This has a copper wash steel case. Now, is this still a steel case? Absolutely. Attracts a magnet on the case. It's even a bimetal bullet jacket that attracts a magnet. This attracts magnets everywhere. However, this has a copper wash, which does help, you know, preserve it somewhat. You're also going to see two other characteristics. You're going to see a sealed neck. So this is where the neck of the case, where the bullet gets pressed in. See that red? Looks like fingernail polish. That's a sealant to prevent moisture from getting down through the neck and into your powder, right? Now here's your primer on the bottom. Around the edge of your primer pocket, you're going to seal. This has sealant right there around the primer pocket. So this has a sealed case neck. The bullet's sealed in there, along with a primer pocket. You've got a copper wash on it. This is going to resist moisture a lot more than something like this modern production 7.62 by 39 ammo, where we can see there's no sealant on the case neck. There's also no sealant on the primer. And they'll call this polymer coated. Yeah, maybe, kind of, sort of. I'm going to show you why. It's not really much protection at all. So, one more thing, when you're storing your ammo, If you need to leave it sit around a little bit, like on the counter or something for easy use, that's fine. You can do that reasonably. Keep it climate controlled. Don't ever let it fall, though, and have loose rounds sitting on a concrete floor. So you guys can't see the floor from here, but I'm in a shop, guys, right? This is where I work. I just have this little corner carved out for my YouTube videos. Concrete floor. It's still climate controlled in here. I keep it maybe at least 50 degrees in the winter. 60 if I'm in here doing some recording, right? But it has a concrete floor that's a slab right on the ground. And as you guys know, concrete is hygroscopic. It sucks up moisture. Well, just like I have a loose round here that I'm showing you sitting right here on my computer desk. One apparently rolled off and fell on the back, an area where you don't see very often. And I was under there with the vacuum cleaner and felt the vacuum suck up something kind of heavy. Guess what I found? This is same thing, the Tula ammo, 7.62 by 39. This is badly rusted, guys, badly corroded. I would not want to shoot this for no other reason than I suspect I would probably get a stuck case at the very least. There may be enough rust on here already where the case could be compromised. You could have a case sidewall blowout. This could hurt you. Or at the very least, make it where it's a pain in the butt to get this stuck case. Now we'll see here. This is a steel bimetal jacket, magnetic. It does have like a copper brass type wash on it. But even that's badly corroded. Let's see if I can pull that up there. See that? The pitting? The corroding, you guys are getting a good look at that. Now, you guys are probably going to think this was sitting outside for 10 years. No, this fell on the concrete floor. And I have a dehumidifier in this shop, like 15 foot right over there. And in the winter, I'm looking at my hygrometer. It's only 16% humidity in here right now. And I keep it at about 45% humidity in the summer with a dehumidifier that's running constantly all summer long in the humid Michigan summer. No, this was sitting down there for no more than a year, and I know that because when I found it, this computer desk had only been in this spot for a year at that time. So 1 year of this sitting there. Yeah. Hate to see what would happen, but it might not be much better if you had a whole case of these in the cardboard box that you spent $200 on a few years ago and now it's $500. I wouldn't be surprised if it was sitting on that concrete floor in your basement, your shop, your garage, to find the whole packet looking similar to this. I've opened up these before that have been not stored in a good environment, and they didn't look too much different than this. So keep that in mind. Don't set it on the floor. Humidity. Put it in a steel container with the dust skip packs, and all this becomes a moot point. Now here's a sad story that really sucks. So in my utility room at my house, I store a little bit of ammunition there, okay? And I usually always store it in these green ammo cans. Like I have a stack of them along the wall. Well, I had bought a case of real similar to this. It was the Tula ammo, 7.62 by 39. And it came shipped in the cardboard box. I knew what was in it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to shoot some videos with this. I'm going to use it up soon. Why waste an ammo can on it? That's what I told myself. I wish I had, because here's what happened. We have a rack, right? Those rubber-coated wire racks, you know, that you store stuff on. Well, this is in the laundry room, utility room, right? There's a wash tub, washer, dryer. Off to the side, I store my ammo. Well, we keep some household chemicals, including, like, dish detergent type stuff on top of the shelf. I had the ammo underneath the shelf. Now, since then, I went and bought one of those little boot trays that you put your boots on in the winter, and this can never happen again, but I learned the lesson the hard way. And some detergent. It sprung a little leak out of the plastic bottle where it was so slow we didn't notice it, just a steady drip. I went to grab this case of ammo that was still in the sealed cardboard box with all the little boxes in between, 1,000 rounds of Tula ammo. And even at that time, okay, this is over a year ago now, a year and a half ago, I spent about $200, probably more than that with shipping and tax. And it was just gooey, and there was like this goo from the detergent. You guys follow me so far? So here's what happened. That's why this ammo is just laying loose in here. Now these were the best ones that I could pull out of there. Some of them were coated in rust. Literally almost as bad as the round I just showed you that had fallen on the floor. Other ones, like this one here. Let me grab a couple of these for you real quick, just to show you a sampling. This is from laundry detergent dripping on the cardboard box, guys. Yeah. Bought my first gun in '94. I should know better. And that's why I'm trying to give you guys advice. Even if you've been into guns a long time, hey, stuff happens, right? But not after you watch this video, hopefully. Okay, we can see this is not nearly as bad as the one that was laying on the concrete floor, but it's speckled in surface rust. In my opinion, the case is not compromised on this. We'll see other ones that are a little better in spots than others, like this side of the case here. Pretty good. Let's roll it over. We see it speckling. Now, these were all kind of gooey with, like, detergent, right? I took all these and put them in my sink and ran them in water, soaked them in water, went and swished them all around, rinsed them off, let them air dry. Look, you don't want to do that to your ammo, but hey, that's what I did just to try to save it. Took this out in a shooting video, and I think I have the footage for this that I can show in an upcoming video. And I think out of 30 rounds, believe it or not, I only had like 3 duds, which is crazy cool, actually, that it actually still worked that well. But I could never rely on the rest of this ammo again. I had to throw away hundreds of rounds of this, and the rest of it is just for like completely screw off at the range day. Wouldn't use it for any serious practice. I guess for malfunction drills it's okay. But yeah, about 10% of this is now duds, and that's just due to the fact that I kept it stored in its original cardboard box. It also goes to show that this poly coating, polyformance, whatever they call it, it doesn't really do much. The ammo had only been sitting there with the detergent on it for, I didn't know exactly how many days, but it was no more than like a month in that environment. It was just toast. So there you go. Had I put this ammo, you know, I lost, by nowadays prices, $300-400 in ammo. Even back then, I lost $150 worth, because some of it still worked kind of, but a lot of it I had to throw away. I mean, out of 1,000 rounds, I've shot some of it, don't get me wrong. I shot some of it, but look, there's way less than that. The vast majority of this basically became junk. So, hopefully that helps you guys so you don't have that happen to you. Because that was a big time bummer. Now, some of you have a climate controlled safe, right? You put one of those heating rods in there, and there's enough room with your firearms to put it in your safe. So if your safe is a climate controlled environment, it doesn't hurt. If you can afford the extra little bit of money, still put it in an ammo can, just like I said, but you probably don't have to. So in that case, you know, I have a, no, this was from some brake parts that I bought, right? Or maybe this was a pump, whatever it was. New water pump, I'm sorry. I'm always buying parts and working on my vehicles. So in this case, I've got 38 special, 357 mag. If you're going to be putting this into a, you know, climate controlled, humidity controlled safe, the 50 count boxes just fit nice and handy in here. Still take your Silica Gel packet, pop it in there just for good measure. It's 20 cents, guys. Don't go short on those silica packets, that desiccant. That's really going to save you. And then put it in your climate controlled, humidity controlled safe. That's totally fine. Just take your loose boxes and set them in your safe if that's the deal. But I know a lot of you, the safe's either filled with guns or you can't afford a safe because a quality safe costs a lot of money. And that's definitely not what this video is about, but hey, trust me, if you just throw your stuff in a safe and don't have proper humidity and climate control in your safe can actually make your guns rust way faster and ruin your ammunition way faster than just leaving it out in the ambient air. Different gun laws apply in different states, I know, so you guys are going to have to know. Some of you legally have to keep them in safes, some of you do not have to. But just keep that in mind. Don't just throw it in the safe and shut the door and not think about the humidity in that safe, because I've seen some of the worst nightmares actually happen to people inside of their safes. So there's quite a bit more I can talk about with this. I think I've gone long enough today, but there's more I want to talk about, and I'll give you a teaser for an upcoming video. Of course, another obvious place you can store your ammunition is in Firearms Magazines. And I'll give you a hint. I have a lot of ammunition stored in magazines, but I'll go over theories on that. Does it ruin the spring? Does it not? How would I store my loaded mag? I think that might be a good topic for another video. So hopefully that helps you guys out. You know, it was fun hanging out with you. And look, ammo prices suck, guys. We can complain about it all day, and we often do on this channel, and it's okay. We should complain. This is BS. However, with the money you spent, with the investment that you now have in your ammunition, really think about storing it. You know, I've showed you how I've had ammo that's literally just like rusted out on me in 1 year. You know, it was probably bad in a month or two, to be honest with you. This ammo's toast after a year because it fell on the floor. Now, I'm going to show you one more thing, because you're thinking, well, that's just because you bought steel cased ammo. I'm going to show you some brass case that wasn't stored properly, and that should really kind of seal the deal on how important it is to keep this ammo room temperature, dry, and safe. Okay, so a lot of you have bought a used gun before, right? From family, friends, whatever. And it comes with like a couple extra magazines, and it comes with the ammo that they had for the gun, right? Because they bought ammo and it was the only gun they had in that caliber. Now they're moving on. Well, that's the case with this particular ammo I'm about to show you. I bought an AK. It was a Romanian SAR one from my uncle. He's a gun guy, but he was like, you know what? AK's really not for me. He knows I love them, so... You know, he said, hey, do you want to buy it? I said, sure. He goes, all right, this much money for the gun, and okay, cool. Well, he brings it over to the house, and it comes with some extra mags, and he's like, oh, here's the ammo for it, because he didn't shoot 7.62 by 39, besides in that one gun, and he was like, well, you take the ammo. You guys have all bought a gun this way, right? Okay. So he had bought the gun secondhand. So who knows exactly how the ammo was stored before he got it. I believe it was stored in the basement for a while. And this is what can happen if you don't completely properly store your brass cased ammo. So this is 7.62 by 39, okay? It's in a cardboard box. You're going to see there's a mix, mostly brass, but some steel case stuff in here too, right? Now, some of this ammo actually looks just fine. Now this is military surplus. 1972 head stamp on here. Don't quote me to it, but I believe this stuff was actually made in Finland, believe it or not. But yeah, nice brass cased. Does not attract a magnet. Also does not attract a magnet on the projectile. Now this is probably going to be Birdam primed and probably a corrosive primer. But yeah, non-magnetic, you know, decent stuff, right? This one's in perfect shape. Stored for I don't know how many years because, again, he got it secondhand. I got it from him. However, brass is not immune. Look at this. Just luck of the draw. This particular round definitely took some moisture. We can see extensive corrosion. The lighting's washing it out and making it look gray, but this is that green color, like literally like what you'd see on copper. Brass obviously can oxidize similarly to copper. We're going to look all the way around the extraction groove or the rim there. We're going to look at the head of the ammo. You guys see that gray color? That's just my light, you know, kind of messing with it, but that's actually a green color. So there you go. There's a green one. This is the same thing. This one's oxidized enough. I don't know. Look, here's the official advice. If you see ammo like this, don't shoot it. It's not safe to shoot. That's what I'm supposed to officially tell you. May it be safe to shoot? Sure, possibly. But again, I'd be afraid of extraction. This getting stuck in the chamber, and that can be a pain. There you go, right there. You can see the green. And this is actually built up. You can definitely feel a raised lip with your fingernail there. So I probably won't shoot this round just because I don't want the problems that could be associated with it. This one that's sitting in the box right next to it, no problems. I'd shoot this right now. Why not? Now, the fact that it's been improperly stored, obviously, will it go off or not? I don't know. I would take this out to the range, but I would not put this and just load it up in my mag for my kit or my go-to or SHTF and be like, I guarantee this is going to go off when it was obviously stored in a less than ideal condition. Now, here's some steel case sitting right next to it, and this just shows you how weird this can be. Really no rust at all on there. See that? The very tip of the projectile. The very tip. You can see just a little bit of tarnish setting in there. Now this is going to be a steel case, bimetal projectile. This is also an import. This is a surplus from years ago. It's a little hard to read the head stamp. Looks like this is Russian stuff. And you can see this does have the sealant around the primer. So even though there's a little tarnishing on there, just seeing that sealant alone, there's a lot better chance this round will still pop off. But hey, that's what can happen. And all the ammo isn't trash in here as I dig through, but I can definitely see some, you know, random stuff in here, and some of it looks a lot better than others. Here's some more. This was all just in a random box. You can see we have the neck sealant. That's always a good thing on your ammo to have. We can see the sealed primer there. A little discoloration. That primer's not dented like it looks. Just a little mark on it. This has more of a lacquer type sealant on it. It's a little shinier. You'll also see that. See the lacquer built up around the extraction groove there at the head. Lacquer's definitely a better protectant than this so-called polyformant stuff. But I feel like I'm getting on into a topic that might be another video in this series. Advantages and disadvantages of different types of brass and steel case. So I always take you guys' input. Definitely let me know down in the comments. Alright, I think that's enough for now. I probably missed some things, which is fine, because I think this deserves a couple more videos, because this is such an important topic right now. Hopefully the video helped you guys. If not, hopefully you just enjoyed hanging out with me. I know I enjoy hanging out with all of you. And if you liked the video, don't forget the thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, or you previously were subscribed, make sure you check, because sometimes they just take away your subscription, and you don't even realize it. So I appreciate it, and we'll talk about this stuff more very soon. Alright, thanks for watching, and have a good one.